Welcome to this lecture. Today we are going to deal with these topics little quickly but in detailed approach. My name is Gunjan Subedi and as always I will be guiding you in this topic with practical explanation and examples when necessary. Before starting, let me kindly remind you to subscribe to my Lean University, which is my initiative to deliver free and quality professional education to your screen. XP is a lightweight methodology for small to medium-sized teams developing software in face of a vague and rapidly changing requirements. This was a definition given by Kent Beck. Beck was originally the creator of the XP or Extreme Programming and one of the original people signing the Agile Manifesto in 2001. Let's discuss on this definition given by Kent Beck first. How did he describe XP? He described it as a lightweight methodology. It's lightweight because it doesn't overburden the developer with lots of processes. The tasks are kept at minimum in the extreme programming. It's a humanistic model. It is centered around the people. There is a team centered around the customers and developer, and it is a disciplined approach. It has certain guidelines to be followed. So we can describe extreme programming as a lightweight, humanistic and disciplined approach of the software development. Now let us learn some of the terms that we use in the extreme programming. Extreme programming consists of many tools to make it one of the most popular software development management strategy. The first one is pair programming, where two people use one computer with the shifting roles. These two people sit side by side, and one of them are navigator and observer, and as I told you, these are the switching pairs. Their roles switch from time to time. The advantage of this method is one partner learns from the other, and also the mistakes are rapidly corrected. And another advantage with this pair programming is there is no need of the review team to analyze the codes. So pair programming consists of the navigator and the observer playing a role as a team. The second term is a code review. Code review is the continuous process of improvement where a review team comes and checks often. The next is the unit testing. This is the testing method for testing each unit as a small tangible part. It helps to identify the failures in the logic of codes produced. So there are small focus functions and the developer actually writes the code in the test-friendly approach. Next is the integration testing. Here the individual modules of the software are combined and tested as a whole. It is similar to combining the different scenes of the movie and making a whole movie. The next is the planning game. Planning game is the main planning process of the extreme programming. The game is just a meeting that occurs once per iteration, which may occur usually every 1 or 2 weeks. The next is the coverage. This term comes into play when important decisions has to be made. The team has to take the responsibility and take a courage to throw some parts of the code if it is not helping. So these are some of the terms that people use often in the extreme programming. Extreme programming is quite related to the SCRUM process, although the processes are modified. When the effective practices of the SCRUM and Agile are pushed into extreme, they become effective programming practices. Code reviews put into the extreme become pair programming, as we just learned. Testing becomes the unit testing and continuous regression. Design becomes persistent refactoring. Simplicity, when it is pushed into the extreme, gets into the simple design, simple code and code. And the short iteration and the meetings, when we put into the extreme programming terms, they are called the planning game. So there are some differences between the SCRUM and XP. In SCRUM, changes in the sprints is not allowed. Team determines the sequence of backlog items and the validation of the software is completed at the end of each sprint, which is called the sprint review. In XP, a new feature of equivalent size can be swapped into integration in exchange for not started feature. Tasks are set in strict priority order and the software needs to be validated all the times. So this is an example of the planning or feedback loop of the extreme programming. Extreme programming runs in a continuous planning or feedback loops where we do various activities for software development, such as pair programming, which if done takes only some seconds. Then there is a unit test, which takes about a minute. There is a peer negotiation. Peer negotiation are clarifications among the team and with the customers. The development progress takes about a day. Acceptance testing may take days. Iteration planning is done weekly and release planning is done monthly. So we can see that after the monthly release plan, there is a weekly iteration plan, daily acceptance test, one-day stand-up meeting or say daily stand-up meeting, peer negotiation which takes place hourly, unit tests which take place every minute, and there is a pair programming, and all these things are centered around the coding. So from this approach alone, we can see that extreme programming is one of the disciplined approach of the software development management using the plan feedback loops. Before answering when to use the extreme programming, we should understand some background for the need of its development. Extreme programming or XP was originally introduced due to the need to work around the projects that carried a lot of changes at many times of its development. So it was necessary to develop some method keeping iteration of the process and simplicity at its core. Let us now learn some of these situations which asks the user to use the XP. First of all, we use XP when the customers don't have a good idea of the system's functionality, or when there are many changes in the development process at a short interval of time, or when the resources allocated are minimum and we do not have a big staff group, when the business is rising steeply, when the risk needs higher mitigation plan, when there are high provisions for testing, and when we need a considerable increase in productivity. So this was a short introduction of the XP or extreme programming, which are quite popular in some software development process. Note that extreme programming is only used as management tools for the software development, unlike other agile processes such as SCRUM and Kanban, which are also used and can be used by the project development and project management approach by other business and service sectors. I hope this lecture was helpful to you. Thank you so much for being with me. Before ending this lecture, let me remind you to join my Lean University's premium membership and enjoy a total free access for limited time inside my Lean University's online library and get tons of free courses, free books and lecture topics on project management, Lean and Six Sigma, operations and supply chain, productive and preventive maintenance, quality maintenance, data science, industry and sales management, Agile and Scrum, Kaizen or continuous improvement, and much more totally free. No strings attached. As we have limited seats, only the early subscribers will be given open access inside the premium membership, and remember, it's totally free. Please subscribe and share the video if you share the common belief that professional education should be accessible to all.